I also made deviled eggs over again too.
Oh my gosh.
Why did you have to redo the devil's eggs? Because you love devil's eggs, and I feel like that's something you've made a bazillion
Well,
times.
I was trying to multitask, and I think I was not paying attention when I was making the deviled eggs, and I put too much yellow mustard in it, and it just got to be so bitter. I was like, yeah.
And with eggs being so dirt cheap right now, I'm sure that was no problem.
Well, you know what's so
Ay,
funny
ay,
too? Peter hates the smell of eggs, and he already was disgusted with me. And then he's like, "You made our kitchen smell like you know what?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, dude."
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up?
What's up, fishes?
I feel like the energy might be a little low. What's going on, ladies?
I'm tired. I mean, this time of year is so tiring. You know, Kathy and I both have graduates. We just finished up a big hockey season, so I'm trying to plan that year-end party. I've got the graduation party in 2 weeks. I was at nationals. Then I got COVID last week. You know, Sarah stepped in for me. Then I was gone visiting another child of mine at school for mom's weekend. So I was so happy to recover for that. And so yesterday, I just feel like I was playing so much catch up that I just feel like, you know, my gears are ground down a little bit.
Yeah,
You
I know.
It just feels
A
like
lot.
a lot. Yeah. And it's,
Well,
it's all going
COVID
to
takes it
happen.
out
It's
of
going to
you.
be
I mean,
fine. Yeah. But I just feel like a little bit behind the eight ball, just trying to get things handled. I've got company coming next week.
oh, who's coming?
My friends Mary and Marcia are coming to visit for the weekend.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, that's a blast from
Wow.
the
So
past.
yeah.
Like in your
So
early days of like living in
yes.
Chicago.
So we were all like kind of like growing up like young professionals together in Chicago and spent a lot of time together. And Mary still lives in Chicagoland and Marcia lives out west. So they're coming into town and we're gonna have a great time.
Oh, that sounds
But
fun.
yeah, so it's just, a busy time. I mean, it's all good
Yeah.
stuff. I hate to even complain about it, but I'm a little tired too.
Well, that's where you are, and that's
Where I
fine.
am. Yeah.
Kathy, what's wrong with you? Why no energy today?
I am tired too. We hosted like a little Easter gathering over the weekend, and I don't know. I
Like,
just can't seem to roll with stuff as much as I used to. I didn't get a lot of sleep, and all my cooking, I tried to prepare ahead of time. I got all this stuff like during the week, and then I thought I'm going to spend the weekend cooking because the weather here was terrible all week. It rained, and I was like out shopping in the pouring
Yeah,
rain.
that's a drag.
But like on Saturday, I started preparing, trying to make like deviled eggs, and my kids love their grandmother's potato salad, which actually is like more like an egg salad. And I just was not successful in the kitchen. And I was like, literally, I was in a foul mood. And I was like, my husband said, I think you need to take a break from the kitchen and like go to bed.
this
So
is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be
no, I
fun.
just, I usually make deviled eggs like no problem. And I did something, I wasn't paying attention and they turned out bad. And I was trying to like over, you know, fix it with adding stuff to it and it made it worse. And, it was just like one of those days that I just couldn't do anything right. And then I broke a bunch of dishes, cut my finger. I mean, you name it, it happened.
I mean, I'm not laughing at you that you cut your finger, but yikes, that sounds like a bad skit on a TV show or something.
Yeah.
I feel like we've
I
all been there. Like you try to be so like ahead of the game and you plan and you strategize and you like got it all
Yeah.
organized and then it kind of falls short for whatever reason. And then you're just like, oh. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
That's all right. It happens. So, what are we watching? Kathy, I do want to just very quickly circle back to that Netflix show, Million Dollar. What's the what
The the
what was
million
it?
dollar
The million
secret.
Yes, The Million Dollar Secret on Netflix had
Yeah.
I finished it. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, they did suck me in because I did want to know who won the $1 million, but I did not like the show and I don't think I would watch it again. I don't think the rules are set up fairly to have a fair game. And these people are very not nice to each other. What
Well,
did you think of it?
I think early on it sucked me in just because I thought it was an interesting concept. And I kind of agree with you. I mean, it just goes to show like people, they're all liars the whole time. And some of them were really good. But I think you're right. Like, they definitely make it hard for you to be the millionaire because they give like these hard tasks that they have to do, and it almost outs you because some of them are so obvious, but you don't really realize that in the very beginning. But as the show goes along, you're like, oh, that's like weird, behavior or whatever, and people are more in tune to it. But um yeah, I mean, they try and make alliances with each other, but even that, they weren't real because they were lying to each other. So
Well, you can't make alliance with people you just met on a game that's designed to lie.
yeah,
And the other thing was with if you if you are able to do these tasks and complete these tasks, it's supposed to give you an advantage. It should be an advantage, and that's not how it was set up. The game was it said it was an advantage, but it
right.
wasn't. So that was my frustration.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. I would be terrible on that
So,
show. I am not a good liar. I would be
yeah.
like probably like the first one out because they would see right through me.
And you would hold a grudge too. You'd be like, "You lied to
Yeah,
me?
you're out.
No.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like, you're
yeah,
out.
you're not in the
You're out."
circle. You're like,
I know, Linda, did you Linda, did you watch this show? You didn't, I don't, or did you?
So I did not. I actually did watch the first episode last night, and then I watched the very last episode, and I fast forwarded it because I was very annoyed right out of the gate. Like I never would have gotten sucked in to this because I don't love the whole lying concept either. But I did like the house that they stayed in. I thought that was pretty incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I want one of those boxes that has that very cool, like little thing on top, that had the money in it. I thought those
Yeah.
boxes were pretty sweet, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. The fox den, I don't know what he called it, but anyway, no, it
yeah.
wasn't it
That
wasn't
house
my
was
thing.
nice.
Yeah, the
I
house
do
was
know
pretty
something
cool.
that I do know something we can all agree on. If you all watched the Masters over the weekend, wow, what a finish
Wow.
Yeah,
to the
that
Masters.
was.
I could not stop watching it. It was so exciting. And I thought that these guys, I mean, Rory, I was excited for him that he won. But honestly, Justin Rose, like what a final
Amazing.
round he played. Like, and he played with such grace too. I don't know. I thought it was just fun to
Yeah,
watch.
Mhm.
Rory, he deserved that, and like his emotion got to me. I was like, oh my gosh,
I know. It
he
was so
just
sweet.
he he
I saw something on TV where they had this old interview where Rory in Ireland went on this like talk show when he was 8 years old, and his shtick was as an 8 year old he knew he wanted to be a professional golfer, and he had been practicing chip shots into his mom's washing machine. And that's
Yeah.
what got him on the
Yeah.
show. And so they brought his mom's washing machine on, and he chipped some like golf balls into the washing machine on this show. And the host was like, "So you want to be a professional golfer?" And I was, "Yes. My dad took me out on the course like a year ago. I love it. It's my passion. I hope that I get to be a professional golfer." And then he turns out to win the Masters. So it was such a cute
Yeah.
little full
yeah.
circle thing that they found, and I enjoyed watching.
Okay. Just want to remind you all to please continue to rate, review, and invite your favorite fishes to jump in and enjoy the conversation. All right, let's jump into it. Fishes bitchin'. I'm frustrated with our school system. My kids just started spring break.
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing a staycation.
Mm-hmm.
But on Friday, when my son came home from school, he had an assignment due at midnight that was given to his teacher that day. And then Johanna has a project she's supposed to do over spring break that's due on Monday
Oh,
when we get back. And
that-
also, I don't understand. What are your thoughts on getting homework over spring break?
not a fan.
Not a fan.
No, I am not either. And I'm like trying to not be upset about it, but it's like, why do these kids never get a break?
What kind of project does she have? My goodness.
She has to do a diorama of this book.
Oh,
And then
I hate those.
and then she has to
Ugh,
write a small paragraph
I
about it.
hate craft projects for school
Mm.
projects. I find it so annoying.
I mean, and for us, we're not going anywhere. But like, what about the families that are going to see family, or they have
A
maybe they
trip.
planned a
Right.
trip, or who knows? Like, but you have this pressure that you have to get this done.
I know. I feel like back in the day we did have like a project every once in a while over break, but I just think it's ridiculous. I just, break is break. It should be a time where you can kind of really get a little respite from everything that you have to do. Spring is tricky enough, I think, for the kids, especially like elementary school kids. They're tired. Like,
Yeah,
why would you put on and a diorama? Ugh, boo.
Yeah.
Like a
yeah,
craft project? Ugh,
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
hate those things.
my thinking out loud kind of like relates to your story sort of because like we can't go away for spring break cuz my kids are playing lacrosse right now and our school they have to be here to play these lacrosse games that are scheduled during spring break. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if your kid plays all 4 years of high school, you don't get to go on a spring break,
yeah.
Yeah.
which I think is ridiculous.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why people don't get to take breaks. It's important.
Why is it necessary to schedule these like 3 things during our spring break?
I mean, not to brag, but we did not have hockey games during spring
I
break
know, I'm actually
for
like
some reason.
I
And
can't believe that you guys didn't. I mean, cuz you always
yeah,
have hockey.
we always have hockey, but for some reason, hockey does not do it during spring break, and it's amazing. So we did go on break. So yeah, I mean, but I think there's a lot of sports that have that problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thinking out loud will be the confession that I did not make it even 1 week not ordering Amazon.
Oh.
I knew it would be tricky for me, but then I got COVID and I let my fingers do my shopping for me when I was in the bed trying to like bounce back so I could go to mom's weekend, which I did make it to, but it's too easy for me and I just couldn't manage it. So I'm sorry. I'm out.
You're out. All
I'm out
right.
and I'm not
Okay.
even trying to get back on because I just am like, I can't handle it. It's just too easy for me and I need like convenience, I think. I'm so addicted to the convenience. I can't
Yeah.
make it.
Well, I
I
didn't
don't
even
know.
do it,
Oh,
so good for you. You tried.
How about you,
well,
Nancy? Are you still on board?
I'm still doing it. I have
Oh,
not
Okay,
caved.
good for
yay
you.
for
Yep.
Yeah, I love this for
Nancy.
you. A plus work.
So I have looked. And I've thought about it, and I'm like, nope, I don't need it that bad.
Hmm.
So,
Good.
Okay,
so
good. You're
far,
checking yourself. I like it.
so you all, we before we jump into our next segment, I wanted to tell you that I got to go to Point Doom, in Malibu, which is a beach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you all remember going to Point Doom when you've come to see me,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of my most favorite beaches, and we happened to be able to go the other day, and we are taking a little hike along the shoreline, and we saw three gray whales because
Oh,
they're migrating right now. Um,
Yes. Oh,
because
that's
with
so
their
nice.
and it was super super cool, and there happened to be a park ranger there who was taking pictures of it and watching documenting the migration, and it was
Yes.
so cool. But he was saying that the whales that they're finding and seeing are smaller, that they're not as big, and that they're worried they're not getting enough food.
oh,
So
Oh.
I thought that that was a little sad secret or a little sad little nugget that he shared.
Hmm.
That they don't feel like they're getting enough food. But I will tell you, it was so fun to see that and thinking about spring and Easter and everything new.
Yes.
It just kind of leans into that
Yeah.
for me
Yeah, I
of
love
like
that.
rebirth.
Yeah.
Um, which kind of gets us into our next segment, which is Easter, traditional, non-traditional. What's that look like for you? So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
What's it look like for you all for Easter this year?
Well, when you have kids in college, sometimes they can make it home and sometimes they don't make it home. So this year, our oldest is going to come home for a couple of days. I kind of arm twisted her. And so we'll do like Easter egg coloring and stuff like that when she's here. But then she has to leave really early on Sunday. So we're going to do sort of a breakfast slash early brunch. And we have a couple of friends, bonus friends coming. But our middle child is not coming home because she has exams the week after. And she just is like, I don't want to have to travel. I want to be able to focus and do. So I feel like, it just gets a little bit more tricky when everybody's not around. So it's sort of not traditional in that the whole family won't be together and we will have bonus people, which will be fun. So I'm just going to do brunch and I'm going to make it easy. I'm not doing a turkey. I'm doing a ham. I'm doing some eggs. I'm going to probably make some cinnamon rolls and maybe poppy seed bread. And of course, the lamb cake. And then, call it a day. It'll be an early day for us.
I'm feeling the same. So this is the first year that my oldest will not be here. I don't think I've ever celebrated an Easter without him. So I'm kind of
Oh,
sad.
so I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like, is that
Yeah.
weird for you?
Yeah,
It's
it is.
hard. Yeah, it's really
But
hard not
it
to have the whole
is
family together.
it is later this year. And so we as I was kind of talking about in the beginning of the show, we kind of had our Easter celebratory gathering with some friends that we've been doing for years. And I hosted a brunch. And then we colored Easter eggs as well. And I have to say that my son Trevor won our Easter egg coloring contest. He made the cutest little Spartan egg because he's going to go to
He did.
Michigan State next year.
That was
and
so cute. It
and
was so
he
clever.
So for people listening who don't know, our family tradition started back when we were living with our parents as kids. We're very competitive, and we would color Easter eggs, but then we would have a competition and we would vote for the favorite egg. So
right.
we've kind of carried that tradition on with our families,
Yeah.
and like that we do a voting for who made the best egg.
So I
Mhm.
had, all these people over, and then that was what led me to the day before having such a bad day because I messed up. But I did mess up with our breads because I was trying to make them a little more healthy and not put um, canola oil in it. Because I just been reading. I mean, there's a lot of things you're seeing on the articles on the news about how these seed oils are bad for you. So I tried to substitute and it was a fail. And
Mm.
so we make poppy seed bread, which is like a family recipe. And I
So
made it.
my husband calls it a fancy donut, a non-fried
I
donut.
mean,
Like
it's
it's a very
delicious.
sweet
It's very
bread. Yeah.
sweet.
It's
It's
very
very
sweet.
like it's a
Yes.
dessert bread for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I
perfect
think
for
that
breakfast.
I
Yeah.
think we've talked about it before. Like it is like holidays or special events. Like this bread we all three seem to always make. So
Mhm.
it is delicious, but it also does call for like what, a cup and
It's
a
like,
half of oil. Like
yeah,
it
Yes,
calls for a lot of oil and
it
a lot
does.
of
A lot of
sugar. So
sugar. Yeah.
I don't think it matters if it's canola oil or a seed oil or whatever. I mean, oil at that point is, I think
yeah.
that those articles are trying to say moderation, right?
Well,
Like
I
this
mean,
bread, we're not eating every day, right? So you could probably make it with any oil and it probably doesn't matter,
well,
right?
you can't make it with any oil because I tried to do avocado oil. I did not like that as well either. I mean, that was okay. I would say it was marginally
Kathy, did the avocado oil turn out? Because I
like
feel like I bake a lot.
it made it like a little more dense. and it made
Oh,
the texture different and it made it darker. And my kids kind of kept staring at it like, what is this?
right.
And then I
Yeah.
made it with olive oil, which was a complete fail.
Oh no.
So,
Yes.
I went back and kind of looked at some articles. I think like you're right. I think these oils like if they're used in like fast food preparation and like you're frying stuff all the time and reheating that oil all the time, you can end up with some bad results, with it breaking down. But we're not
Mm-hmm.
using it like that. And
Right.
they have good they do have a good fat which helps lower cholesterol. So I think if you have a healthy diet like you said and aren't always eating junk food all the time, I think the oil's fine. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was my take on it, and we can post some of those articles. That was from Harvard Health. You know I think we're good.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that
it
that
is, it's so
frustration of like
hard. Yeah.
when you're spending
Yeah.
like all this time making your favorite thing and then it doesn't turn out, you're like, what? It's not worth
Oh,
it
Yeah.
it's
for
the
me.
worst.
It's the
It's
worst.
the worst. And it's
Yeah.
also that extra pressure because I know we're all like this where we want people to come and enjoy themselves
Right.
and you want your food to be good and you want it to be good. So it's like we put this extra pressure on ourselves, but the truth of the matter is your friends didn't care that that bread didn't turn out
Well,
and
I,
all
I
they
made
wanted.
it like a normal that next morning because I was like, okay, I can't I can't like not have the poppy seed bread. My kids would be like so mad. So
Did you get up extra early to make sure that you had that bread? Because it takes like an hour
Hour to
plus
bake.
for
I
Yeah.
that
did.
to.
I did. I got up
Wow.
extra
That's
early.
true love.
I made that. I also made deviled eggs over again too. So
Oh my gosh. That is
Why did
true
you
yeah.
have
love.
now? Why did you have to redo the devil's eggs? Because you love devil's eggs, and I feel like that's something you've made a bazillion
Well,
times.
like I was telling you, I think I was trying to multitask, and I think I was not paying attention when I was making the deviled eggs, and I think I put too much yellow mustard in it and didn't realize it. And then I put it in
Mm-hmm.
probably again, and it just got to be so bitter. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot even serve this. I just threw it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with eggs being so dirt cheap right now, I'm sure that that was no
Well,
problem.
it's so funny
I
too. Peter hates the smell of eggs, and he already was disgusted with me. And then he's like, "You made our kitchen smell like you know what?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, dude. Like, I don't know what to
You
say."
know, I don't love devil's eggs either, and the only time I make them is around Easter, and we're a split household. Once again, Johanna and Tim love them, and Riley and I are like, no, thank you.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so funny.
I have a split household too about them. So,
Well,
and I
you
do
know,
understand Rich doesn't like them either. So it does make the house smell like eggs. But I applaud you for trying to be like a little bit more healthful when you're making your breads
Yeah,
because I get it. I mean, there is all of this like buzz around like these seed oils and stuff, but I do think you're
yeah,
right. It is like the reheating of the oils that causes a lot of problems. So, I mean, we were talking about this and we all have these like lamb molds that we make these lamb cakes for Easter and we put them in the centerpiece of our table. Usually
so
the
they're
three
like
of us
these,
do. So we
yeah,
have
these lamb
cast
mold.
iron. We have
yeah.
these cast iron molds that are old. They're ancient. Our mom has one. I think she got it from like her great grandmother or something. And so she's used it for years. And so I got one on eBay, and this woman sent me this like the original instructions for it. And so I was listening to us, we were kind of talking about these seed oils. So I decided to do an experiment and try and see if the original recipe or the recipe with the shortening replaced with coconut oil would work. And it did work. I did a taste test with my boys and they liked the coconut oil one better because it was a little lighter. but I had a heck of a time getting it out of the mold. I think it's just too tender. I think you
Yeah,
have
I
to use
mean,
a pound cake. So we'll
that
put a
would be
pound cake recipe in there. But the secret to getting your cake out of your cast iron mold is to really, really grease every little crevice of your pan and then put flour in there and shake it around and then dump out, like bang it on the side of your sink or whatever to get it all out. And then when you bring it out of the oven, they say pretty soon after you take it out to like take the top off and let it cool with the bottom half because it's two pieces you put together.
yeah.
And you have to use like a hearty cake. You have to use like a pound cake or something. You can't use like something light and airy, which is what the
Yeah.
directions gave me, but it really doesn't work well, other than it tastes delicious.
It brings back like fond memories for me because growing up, that is my memory of Easter. It was
Yeah,
like
the lamb
mom
cake.
made mom made dinner and it was the centerpiece. It wasn't
Yep.
flour. She made this lamb cake and it was always this big production, right? Mom
Yeah.
making
Yes,
the lamb cake of
it's a
like she
production.
would she was like putting it together. She was trying to season the cast iron. It was this
Mhm.
it's this heavy mold
Mhm.
and she puts it in the oven. She spends all this time trying to make sure it comes out and then holding her breath as she's trying to get the lamb cake out. And no
Yes.
offense, mom, if you're listening, and I would say like 9 times out of 10, it came out where she needed to put toothpicks in it to like hold up an ear
Right.
Yeah.
or the neck or like something, but it always looked pretty on the table, whether it was sometimes laying down in grass or like she had it like propped up with all these toothpicks. But I loved it. Like that was just part of this dinner that we always
Yeah.
had, and it was nothing really fancy. It was just this nice dinner with this
Yeah.
lamb cake. And so when we moved out here to California, it was the first Easter, one of the first Easters that I didn't spend with mom and dad. And I was like, Tim, I really am very sad that I'm not going to get that lamb cake. And so he actually found me a cast iron um, cake mold, and I love it. I love having that thing. And every year I feel the anxiety of, did I do this right? Is this going to pop out or not? It usually works out,
Yeah.
but it holds my breath. I have to hold my breath. And
Yeah.
just 1 year, I did it, and its head got decapitated after I frosted it. Like I
Oh,
frosted it, and the head popped off, and um, which was not what I wanted. And my
Yeah.
kids were like, "You killed the lamb," and I was like, "It's just resting," so I had to lay it down. That was my
Yeah.
only
oh,
really big fail,
Yeah.
but it is tricky and kind of fun, and hopefully I'm going to carry that tradition on with my kids of
Yeah.
this like lamb cake.
Yeah, I bought one on eBay and then I happened to be at a antique store recently and I bought a second one. So I am going to try and find a third one so that I can pass them on to my kids.
It is. Our heritage is German, right? So I think it is like a German. I mean, I think it really dates back to the
Yeah,
German
like
tradition,
the
right?
early 1900s. Yeah.
I'm going to send you guys a picture when I make mine. Oh,
I
we've,
think I'll put them up.
I
I'll
think
put
we
them up
should.
on. We'll post it on Instagram, and you guys can see. Did the sisters, did the
Could we
fishes
get
get
it
their
out of the
lamb?
mold? I don't know.
Can we get it out of the mold? Because this year, I'm doing a non-traditional Easter this year, but the only thing I'm keeping the same is I will make the lamb cake is the only thing that we discussed, but I'm not doing a big brunch this year. And I think my family, we're going to go on a hike, take the dog, and we're going to be gone Easter and just get outside and enjoy the sunshine and just not have the pressure of brunches and
Hmm.
all the things that come with it, and we're just going to get out in nature and just enjoy the
That
day.
sounds
That sounds
nice.
So,
nice.
but I
That
will
sounds
say,
nice.
as I'm telling you this, I feel a little guilty of like, oh, this is so weird. I've never not done anything for Easter before, had a brunch or had other family over. So, but I'm looking forward to trying something a little different and just
Yeah.
shaking it up a little bit.
Now, do you guys still do Easter baskets for your kids? I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I got the girls already something, because they're bigger now, I get them usually like a little houseware something as opposed to, so like Rich and I were at this little festival and we got our middle child this like cocktail shaker. It's like pink glass with like a little gold top. So I'll put that in her basket. And then our other daughter, we got her this like little hand painted piece of art, just like it's tiny, just like a 3x4, like
Oh,
little
that's
piece of
cute.
art. So just like little things that they like for their apartments now, as they've gotten a little bit bigger, and just some candy. I mean, it's basic.
Yeah.
Just I've been thinking about them, and just like a little something to keep it fresh.
I wish I
So,
had a girl because I showed you guys that article. There was a thing about 11 Easter gifts you could give that aren't candy, but the one thing that really stuck out, there was a squishmallow bunny. It was
oh
like
yeah,
purple and had like the floppy ears. I
yes.
thought that would be perfect for Johanna. Like it was
Squishmallows are so
adorable.
great.
But they have a lot of cute ideas on there if you're needing ideas because they had some good ones.
All right, you all. What's for dinner?
Well, I think we said this time we're gonna post a recipe for the lamb mold. So
Yep.
it's a pound cake that we use that definitely is firm enough that it will help you get your cake out of your mold that you're using. A lot of people have bunny molds too, if you don't
Right.
have a lamb mold. So happy baking.
Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend and happy Easter to everyone. Sisters out.